You know, last year was a very hard year for so many of the Lions fans. And really, I'm like, isn't every year a hard year for Lions fans?
But yes.
But for those that rely on going to the games, because it's not just about the game, it's a community.
It is.
And one of the craziest fans out there who is so dedicated to the Lions, Ron Crachiola, otherwise known as Crackman. He's a Lions Superfan. Crackman, great to have you with us. How are you?
I'm doing great, Ronnie.
So,
thank you for having me.
Crackman, I have to ask you, what was last year like for you, not being able to go to the games?
Well, you know, it was one of the hardest things I went through in a long time. You know, we had a few gatherings, but it wasn't the same. It was like going to a funeral, but there was no one there. It was just eerie. My Sundays weren't the same. I mean, I'd go to church and everything like that, but you know, on Thanksgiving Day, you know, tradition, you know, with annual Thanksgiving Day game, even though the players were in the stadium, but I rode down in the market, and I had my bicycle with me, so I just rode down the Quinder Cut, rode up by the Renaissance Center, and then I rode towards. There was no cars in the street. It was like the day the earth stood still. It was eerie. So it was rough. It was a hard year.
Yeah, I thought for sure, I was like, oh, you know, fans are still going to get together and tailgate. But no, they had the Detroit cops out, making sure that no one tailgated.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I'm the big thing right now this year. I'm just so glad we'll be in that stadium. You know, everybody's asking about what do you think the Lions will be doing, their record. I'm just happy to be out there with the tailgaters and in the market and being in the stadium. Looking forward for some road games, being with my peeps, rocking it.
You guys are the craziest of fans. And how long have you been a fan?
Well, I probably, I think when I was born, I came out fist first saying, "Go Lions, baby."
But how do you stay so dedicated?
Well, it's something that, you know, growing up, I grew up in Utica, Michigan, and my grandfather, he was a big sports fan, and in Detroit area, my dad was, all of his buddies were, you know, it's like it breeds into you. And the first game I went with my dad, I was about 14 down at the old Brick Stadium there, and the crowd, and I loved it, and it just stuck with me all these years. And then you remember the Brow back in the day? He was a crazy little guy there with baseball games and football and the big eyebrows. And one of my buddies said, "You know, Crack, that's going to be like you one of these days." I said, "Well, we'll see." And sure enough, you know, I was the overhead lineman for Edison. And being a blue-collar city, probably 30-some years ago, 35, I started wearing my cut-off bibs and my line boots and then the hard hat. And things just start snowballing. And, you know, I just love it. And it's like the look, you know. Everybody, they see me now and they go like, "Are you the guy? But, you know, where's the hard hat?" I said, "Well, it's not like football season, okay? You know."
So
I'll have it on when the season starts.
People should know Crackman has his own card. It's like a baseball card. You're a celebrity.
Well, I don't know about that, but I have a lot of fun.
So
I'm just a normal guy that's like to have a good time, and I love Detroit Lions football. I'll stand by them till the day it's like the good Lord says, "Come on up and join us, big fella."
So I know that you did go on the road last year to some of the games, right?
I went to one game last year, Ronnie. We went down to, you know, I have that Lions bus. We purchased that from the Lions. Me and my buddy Donnie Uperman, which he passed a couple of years ago. Miss him dearly, but he's with me in spirit every day. Anyway, the Lions called me, and they had their bus they used to use to haul the players around, and it had a wrap on it. It's about 14 seats in it, and they said, "Hey, we're going to go a different direction. We'd like you to buy the bus. You want to buy the bus? I said, oh, yeah. So I talked to Donnie. So we split it. So we still have the bus. And we took it. I took it last year. Donnie's daughter wanted me, Megan, and about 6 other fans. And we took it down to Nashville. So we put about 1,700 miles on it.
Wow.
That was the only game I seen live in Nashville. There was, I think, 13,000 fans in that stadium that day.
Wow. You know you're a super fan if the Lions come to you and say, hey, you want to buy our bus?
Yeah, that was pretty awesome, you know. And it's right now in the UP. I was up there last couple weekends ago. We had a benefit. Donnie always holds his hospice benefit, annual benefit. So they raised over $17,000 for Eastern UP Hospice. It was we had a lot of fans come in from Minnesota. One friend of mine came in from Virginia Beach. So we had a live auction up there, and it was a great turnout for the small little community, and beautiful people up there. And I know Donnie's legacy will live on through that charity.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, Ron, can I ask you, what do you think it's going to be like this year? Are all of the fans coming back? Are we going to see the hot tub over Eastern Market? Everyone will be back, do you think?
Yes, they will, Ronnie. We discussed that. The Blue Crew, the hot tubbers, the tub gators, we're going to be in full force.
What's this like for you guys? Like, I mean, are you you are like a family almost, right? You're all crazy.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, it helps to be a little crazy, you know, like, hey, I told some Detroit Lions, they make me want to drink. You know, it helps. But, yeah, we all have a great time. We're all family, not only with the local fans here. I'm family with fans through the whole country. You know, I go to other games, states. I already got my tickets lined up for L.A. I know super fans in L.A. will meet up, we tailgate. We're a close bunch. It's like, you know, we love each other, but game time, not so much.
It's on.
I'm rooting for the Lions. They're rooting for their team. And afterwards, we shake hands. It's almost like, you know, they're great in the Stanley Cup and the hockey, how they all play it rough. It's tough. You know, there's checking. There's people getting their heads beat up, bleeding. But after the game, win or lose, they line up and shake hands. It's a class act.
How much Lions gear do you have?
Well, pretty much the house is pretty much like a museum in here. So one time I had a lady come by. You know, I'm a big John Wayne fan too, huge John Wayne fan. And I got a lot of John Wayne pictures in here and things. And anyway, this young lady come over the house. She says, why the John Wayne and Detroit Lions? I says, well, young lady, do you see any pictures you in the house? She says, no, I don't. I said, apparently you're not as loved as the Duke and the Lions. So you're going to have to pick up your game a little bit.
We're talking with Crackman. He's one of the Lions Superfans. And Crackman, how do you get onto the field? I always see you on the field, like draft day. Down, where were you guys, in Tennessee? Here's Crackman making, you know, a little national TV debut there.
You know, it's a lot of times I get field passes. The Lions sometimes, always certain games, they get a hold of me and they say, hey, we've got a field pass for you, you know, so you go down before the game starts. It's just being part of the family, you know. I am so excited this year. I met, you know, it was a really, they say what you want about Detroit Lions, but it's a class act operation. You know, they had, like this year with Brad Holmes coming as the new GM and Dan Campbell, you know, Chris Philman in there. They brung in a lot of quality coaches and NFL names. And when they called us, myself and 14 others, that we're fully vaccinated by April 15th, they sent us to the draft on their dime.
Wow.
We went to the draft. 14 of us on a big bus that we met at Allen Park. We met the coaches and the GM in the lobby before we left. They gave us Bose, cordless Bluetooth, and coolers full of beer. And Dan Campbell slammed his fist down. He said, "I hope you guys start drinking early today because you represent the Detroit Lions." And I'll tell you what, it was first class. And then we got down there in the inner circle, and we were all sitting together. They had like iPods all set up with all NFL teams and the 14 fans. So one fan from each group. On the first pick, they went up on the stage and sat in Roger Goodell's chair. And we had a young fellow with us. His name's Joseph, great kid. He was a fan of the year. The Lions had him as a fan of the year. So he was supposed to go up there on the first pick. And all my buddies and friends started talking. They talked to Joe, and they said, "No, we're sending Crack up there. He's the oldest guy here. He's been a season ticket holder over 45 years. He's almost 70 years old. I'll be 70 in January." And the young fellow was a very nice kid, intelligent. And he said, "Hey, I agree 100%. Crachiola should be up on there on the first pick." So, I was I was pumped. I was up there doing my dancing and rocking it, sitting in Roger's chair, and I was talking to Roger Goodell, and I was just thrilled. I didn't know where this moves came from, but I was so happy. And then I loved Panay, the first pick, because I kept telling these guys all week, I said, we need to get Panay at tackle out of Oregon. And they go, "Oh, no, Crack, we got to get these wide receivers." I said, "Hey, them wide receivers are a dime a dozen. Pretty boys that can run fast and catch footballs. You need someone to open up holes. Guarantee it. If he comes our way, the Lions will pick him." And sure enough, when Cincinnati took the receiver, I think they took Chase, and the war room in Detroit went crazy. They were pounding on the desk, and man, Panay was right there, and man, I lost. I was just screaming, yelling up there on the stage and dancing. And so Roger Goodell was laughing. I invited him over. I said, "Roger, next time in Detroit, you call me. I'll take you to a nice bar, some dump, and buy you a couple cold beers." He said, "Crack, I would love that."
And Ron does know where all the dive bars are. Sure. Again, we're Ron Crachiola with us here on the MegaCast. He's a Lions super fan. And so that moment up there during the draft, is that one of your highlights of being a Lions fan?
Well, that's probably the highlight, but I had another highlight, another one that's right up there too, and it's back in 2000. My grandfather was 90. He passed 97 years old. My dad's dad, and he was a big Detroit Lions fan, and he passed. Matter of fact, he passed on his anniversary in December. So my grandma passed like a year before that. That'd have been his 75th wedding anniversary.
Aww. But
the funeral, we're going to Green Bay that weekend. The funeral was Saturday, and we was going to drive to Green Bay on Friday, me and my buddies. So I thought, man, I ain't missing this funeral. So just for a whim, I called down at the Silverdome on Friday or Thursday. One day I called and I talked to Chuck Schmidt. He was the president then. And I told him to explain about my grandfather passing, and I was going to Green Bay, and is there a chance I could ride on the plane with you on Saturday? I'll pay. And Chuck said, Crack, you're a devoted fan. You've done so much for this organization, charity work you've done. We don't run a charity outfit here. I'll set it all up. If you can be at the Silverdome by 2:00 in the afternoon, you fly with us. And so I said, I'll be there. So I went to the funeral. Of course, I had a suit on and a Lions tie. I went over to Silverdome, and no one even knew about it. I was out there, and everybody said, hey, Crack, hey, you seeing us off? I said, no. And then Chuck Schmidt come in and said, no, he's riding with us. And they're like, whoa, and then it was man, I know my grandfather was with me that day. That was just so amazing. On the buses, going to the metro, then we come on back, we'd get on at Northwest, and they were chartered flights then, and boarding the plane. And the stewardess knew me from previous away games. I'd be at the team hotel. And they're like, "Oh, Crack's with us today. This is awesome." You know, honey. My name was on the chair or the seat in the airplane. And I remember Stephen Boyd come up to me and says, Luther Ellis there, Charlie Batch, Kolakowski, they come up. And Boyd says, "Crack, you know, we land in Green Bay. We got to go to the team hotel. You know, we got meetings and everything to go to. I thought maybe you could, Dean, you got a nice suit on, and there'll be fans out there. Maybe you could sign a few things." You know, I said, "I'll handle that. No problem." So that was like right up there, man. I was like pumped. So we got in the hotel and the fans, you know, I just signed all my best. They don't who I am or what I am or whatever. But anyway, that was a thrill. It just shows the class of the organization. And now this last time when they sent us all to the draft, I just see good things coming with this new regime.
So with that, Ron, just another minute or two here talking with you. So with that, are you telling us that the curse is lifted and this is going to be a good year?
That's a fact. Hey, shall it be said, shall it be written? The Lions are going to win the North Division. Take that to the bank, Ronnie.
Oh.
I'm kind of like when hell freezes over.
Well, guess what? It's very hot in the studio today, Ronnie, so it seems like we're getting there.
Well, I'm so glad you guys are going to be able to get back in the stadium this year, because I know that it's not just a ball game. It really is a family. And I love the story about the Lions and what they did for the draft for you. Makes me like them now.
There you go. I got one in closing. You ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Forward down the field, the Lions team out will not yield. And when the blue and silver wave, stand and cheer the brave. Rah, rah, rah. Go hard, win the game. With honor we will keep our burn. Down the field and gain a Lion victory. Go Lions! Who loves you, baby? Woo!
See, already pumped.
Oh, yeah.
Already pumped.
I'm ready.
Do you have a countdown? How many days?
I believe it's about, talking preseason or regular?
Preseason.
Preseason game would be, 3 weeks?
Wow, that's right around the corner.
Oh, yeah, we're getting there.
Well, Ron, it's been fun having you. It's we'll see. We'll catch up a little bit later in the season. I'm sure I'll see you out.
Okay, thank you, and you all have a blessed day. Godspeed. Oh, and by the way, my dad's birthday was last week. He just turned 94.
Wow.
Wonderful.
Doing great.
That's
and he's, of course, a big Lions fan, too.
Well, tell him we said happy birthday.
Yeah.
Will do. Over and out. Love you.